I really glad to see you here today with me. And I'm really happy that you accepted my invitation to be here today with me. So first of all, I would like to present you to my public, to people that don't know you yet. You are a businessman. You have two businesses in this moment, and you are an entrepreneur for many years. So could you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what do you do in your life now?
About myself, a very interesting question to start with. Looking back and really evaluating my life so far, I would say that I work on becoming human. That's a big theme for me. Not just believing and blindly doing what is expected of me, but finding my own truth and sticking to the highest standards. That's a personal goal for me. That is me. Working on my integrity, you could say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's very interesting. So, could you tell us more about your businesses?
Of course. Yeah. Look, I've been working in big organizations for much too long, but I come to that later. I run two businesses in parallel, indeed. One is that I have worked in huge organizations for many years, and I use that knowledge that I gained to help other organizations streamline and improve their processes. I specialize in the area of quality and information security, and I perform audits and I give advices with my company that is turned around consultancy and audits. The other business is perhaps more interesting, we will see. I am a certified health practitioner in the area of Ayurveda, the Indian knowledge. And I've run my practice for about 25 years. The practice is closed, but still I feel the urge to help people. And now I try to do that by offering them some really good products that you cannot easily find in shops, and that I found are very good for improving health and well-being. And for that goal, a new web shop has been created and should open next month.
Mm-hmm. My congratulations. And you know, it's very interesting your experience, because you have two different fields. From the first side, you have information, you have auditing, you give advices to huge companies. And from the other side, you do your personal mission, you do health improvement for people. So it's sort of interesting that two different areas, how they are combined inside you. What do you think about it?
Yes, I can imagine you asked that. There is one underlying theme, Anna, is humans, working with humans. You see, even if I go into an organization to improve the processes, the organization does not exist. It's humans that I talk to. And that's the underlying factor that binds it all together. I have given up, treating people physically in my practice, but now I treat them in a different way. I am the same person. I do it with all my love, whatever I do. And it's interesting to see people react. If I do not strictly behave as an auditor, not strictly ask for standard paragraphs and how they have filled them in, but if I try to understand what they do, if I try to place myself in their shoes and understand and ask questions from the inside out, and that's I feel that is appreciated. Yeah.
I like very much when you say that I love what I do, whatever I do. Okay, so I'm a human, I work with humans, and so I love my job, and I can express my love to people in different ways. I can do it with auditing, I can do it with my healthy shop. So it's very useful, I think, for us to understand that how important it is to do whatever we do with passion, with love, with our personal mission, we can tell. Okay, so I would like to tell the story about how we met with Hans-Otto, because it's really, really strange story. We met with Hans-Otto 1 year ago, and we didn't see each other in real life. So it's interesting because it was a really difficult period. It was in the middle of pandemic situation with masks, with flight restrictions. So Hans-Otto lives in Holland, I live in Italy. So it was really impossible for us to meet in real life. But in some way we met. We met in one chat, in one Telegram chat, where I just wrote one message, and then I received a message from Hans-Otto. Hans-Otto, do you remember that message? Do you remember what happened that time?
Yes, looking back, I still remember that, because indeed we were on a chat group both together. We did not know each other at all. I saw this message that you had placed, and it triggered something within me. I'm working a bit on intuition, and if I get this kick of on energetic resonance, and I felt some energetic resonance between you and me, or between your message and my need at that moment. I was indeed pondering to get me some coaching, business development coaching. And of course, the fact that you signed a message with your profession, business development coach, made me a kick, but it was a bit more. I felt I just needed to contact you. So, and I did it immediately, not thinking. I read your message and I was typing. Yeah, that's how it went.
And then we had a conversation via Zoom, like now. And do you remember what were we talking about? Do you remember that conversation, our first conversation when we met?
No, I don't remember details, not at all. But it was no, I don't think so. But I remember the overall impression. This young woman knows what I want to know. She can help me. That was very clear, and I felt a fit. So the overall impression was that with your vast knowledge, you would be a perfect fit for having some sessions.
Okay. And as I remember, when we met, you had already begun to do your personal development. So you were looking for different personal development books. You read a lot. So could you tell us what was the particular moment in your life when you decided that that's the time I need to do something about my personal development, I need to do something more, or to know something more than I know now?
There wasn't a certain moment. You see, everything comes together. Each person that you meet adds something to your experience, to your wholeness as a human. I'm on this as long as I live, as long as I can think back. For many years, it's clear to me that the world is run by people who do not necessarily really care about the community, about other people. Leaders have their own interests and want people to follow them. but that's not necessarily in the advantage of you and me, of normal people. So I came to the conclusion that we must work on ourselves, on our own future. And yes, this intensified over the years, but I was looking and searching for many years.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because some people tell that in some particular moment, they just understand that they can't live their life like it was anymore. And it's interesting that you, when we met, you already lived your beautiful life. You are a very successful person, but in the same time, you were looking for something else. Do you remember what was your request and what we're looking for in that moment?
I'm sorry, you're about the moment when we met?
Yeah, in the moment when you were looking for personal development, to get to know something more about yourself. Do you remember why it was so important for you in that period?
No, I don't remember details about this. I wanted to set this up, the second business. I wanted to set it up properly, and I've never done that before. So I needed some concrete help in that area. I remember that. But on top of that, you see, you are a business development coach, and that's what I wanted and had the need for. But there's more. I could sense that this young lady knows more, and I wanted this extra as well. And looking back to our sessions that we had, I got more than I was asking for. So,
yeah. As for me, I remember that your initial request was, I want to have more clarity in my life. I want to understand better how the things are going in my life and in the world. So for me, it was really interesting that your initial request was about your personal development, your personal understanding. But at the end of our work, it became a business request.
Yeah,
so
that's how it developed. Yeah.
I really, sometimes I don't really understand how it works, or I don't understand the precise moment. I understand in general how it works, but it's interesting that when we began to work with you, it was it was a request about yourself, about your personal development. And then as a part of your personal development, we found out that you wanted to create this new business in your life. But it has come later. So it was really interesting for me to work with you and to understand how your personal development is connected with your personal ambition and your personal mission and your personal business creation in that period. Okay. Hans-Otto, I would like to ask you, what is your biggest dream now?
So what exactly is it that you want to know?
What is your biggest dream now?
Biggest dream? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I do have several dreams. One is to really put this business down and making certain it does what it's intended to help people to change. You see, these products assist them in keeping good health and feeling well. And in this way, I believe they create space in people to focus on higher things. When you have a good product mix that I believe I offer, that does support your well-being on a steady level, and you feel good, then that creates space within you to focus on more on, well, who am I and where do I want to go and what do I want to do with my life? So really, that's a big dream that I have. Yeah.
Okay, so could you tell us more about the products of your shop? I think it's interesting to understand a little bit better, because we understand that these products are really unique, that I don't really know that anybody else in the world does the same thing as you do. So maybe I think it would be really interesting for us to know about your products, about how do they work, and just several words about it, if you don't mind.
The products. Well, the interesting thing is, it's very few products, maybe 20 or 30 to start with. Very little amount for a web shop. They are a very strange combination of some devices that say clear the electromagnetic fields around you, and some say food supplements that help the body to clean itself or to strengthen the immune system. And what I really figured out, the product mix, if you look at it, is very strange, but I figured out it's working, how you say that, synergistically. They help each other. So it is not one or the other or the other. One should really try 2 or 3 things in combination. And that should have a very strong effect, a positive effect on people, body and mind.
Okay, how do you choose your products?
How do
you choose?
I myself, of course, use my knowledge of health and illness situations. I've studied a lot of things, not only Ayurveda, but more facilities. So I come from a background that I know in this situation you need that. But there's also intuition, and I trust that the shop will be found by those people who have an active interest in their life, in their well-being, in their health, and they will be able to choose intuitively.
Mm-hmm.
I trust that. I mean, I have a big deal of intuition in me. So have other people, and I trust that they find what they are looking for. So,
very interesting. What you're talking about, that people will choose the product with intuition. In the world when we speak a lot about marketing, about advertising, about copywriting, about so many different things to attract the attention of our customers, to attract people to our shops, to our products. And your concept is completely different. You speak about intuition.
see, the first step needs to be set as well. Of course, I will invest in marketing campaigns, because people need to know that there is this shop. So we start from there, obviously. But then I really leave it to the people to examine the shop, and there may be 90% of the visitors may not be interested because it's not for them. Again, we come to an area of how you could say, of vibration.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a certain vibration in your system to value, I think, to value what I offer, to recognize, that's just not, it's not for everyone. But I mean, no shop is for everyone. So I trust that the shop will be found by those who need one or the other products. And yes, to make known to the world that the shop is there, of course, there will be marketing campaigns. Certainly, yes.
Okay. So you speak about intuition, like about something something that you how can I tell it, that you can set up your shop to create this vibration, or just people that have this type of vibration will choose your shop, or it's like both of it?
Who knows? Who knows? As I said, not all my decisions are based on pure logic. Not all are pure rational. So there is a part of intuition from my side, of course, that helped up to help to set up the shop. But on the other side, who knows how it will be in a year? Maybe there are one or two or a few more new customers that really also carry the word and tell others about their experiences because it did something to them. Often you have that there happens something to you which you cannot really describe. You may not even know the exact moment when it happened, but it happened and you feel different. And either you are happy and you continue, or you say, not so good, I cancel that. Okay. But yeah, it comes from both sides. It comes from both sides, yes.
Okay, so 1 year ago, you began your work with the shop. So for me, it's really interesting to know, how did you change like a person during this period? Because as we tell, like creating a new business, it's like the best personal development course that we could ever have in our life. So how was it for you?
How have I changed? As I said before, as long as I remember, my whole life, I'm searching for the truth, searching for who I am, searching for the exit from a place where I do not feel really at home. How did I change? In parallel to the business development, I developed myself further as a person, and I came to know some unpleasant truth about me. I was confronted with something that wasn't okay within me, and I did not sufficiently look at it. But some external event has helped me to see that very clear, that not everything is so beautiful within me as I would like to. And so I did change. I gave up some lies, some nasty tricks that I had to manipulate people. That was very deeply hidden in me. And somehow I was confronted with it, and I looked at it very well from all sides, and I decided, no, this behavior I do not want anymore, so it's gone.
Okay, so it's interesting that you can analyze your behavior. That many people they don't have this ability to analyze and to see what's happening with them, what's happening with their emotions, thoughts, with their behavior. And it's interesting that you have this ability to analyze your behavior and to choose whether this behavior is suitable for you in this moment, and whether it's profitable for you, or whether it's okay for you. And it's interesting when you think about, how could I be a better person for myself? How could I be a better performer of my life? How could I create a life of my dreams? What should I do? How should I behave? Okay, so it's very interesting when we do this question to ourselves, and when we speak about and when we think about ourself from the third part. Okay, when we can say, okay, I can look at myself like a third person. So very, very useful, very interesting when we do this analyzing about ourselves. I would like to ask you a question about mindset, about way of thinking. What do you think? How is it important for entrepreneurs, for people who want to make business, or who is doing business in this time, how is it important to analyze your behavior, to analyze your way of thinking, and to use it correctly?
It's a thing that came slowly. I'm not certain whether I can really give a concrete answer to this. What helps me a lot is to say, step outside of me and look at myself from the outside, and then ask myself, is this really okay that you behave like this, or maybe you should change a bit. To be aware. I think awareness is a very important keyword here. To be aware of what I'm doing, why I do it, what I think, what I say, and why I think it and why I say it. And I can tell you it's an intensive exercise and quite tiring. But okay, that helps me. That helps me to say, analyze myself, yeah, by as it were, stepping outside of myself and looking at my behavior.
What do you think about other entrepreneurs in general? What do you think about how could it be useful for business goals, for business objectives?
I have never thought of this concept related to other entrepreneurs. No, I'm. Maybe it sounds a bit selfish, but I came to understand that the world is not an objective reality. If we look at the same thing, we do not see the same thing. It has different meaning, different content for us. Really, I tend to focus on myself, and not with the intention to give an example for others. I'm not interested in what others do, because I cannot really change them or their lives or their destinies. What I can work on is very concrete, is this person. I have my hands full on working with this person and trying to make him a better human.
Okay. Yeah, it's I completely agree that we can't change other people. We can't change other person's behavior. In some way, we can influence them, maybe with our own experience, with our own way of thinking. But generally speaking, of course, it's really important to be focused on getting better ourselves every day. So we both know that our thoughts create our life. So my question is, do you have your favorite thought that is helping you in your everyday life?
A favorite thought? Well, I believe indeed that I have created somehow my world, the world that I live in, that I have created my circumstances. It helps me to understand that this brings responsibility, and whatever I do does have consequences. So I am responsible for everything, and this helps me. I cannot behave like an non-responsible person. I take and accept my responsibility, and I'm glad that we could laugh a bit during this talk, but in fact I'm quite a serious person, and I take it quite serious, maybe a bit too serious. So that's another area that I can work on. Let go a bit and take it a bit lighter. But that will come.
Okay, so your favorite thought, we can tell that I create my own life, or I create my world. Correct?
Sure.
Okay, or maybe I'm the creator of my life also. Could be. a good
Yeah.
synergy.
Either you take responsibility for yourself and you work on your own future, or you let go and accept what others want you to do, but then you're really thrown like something in the wind. If the wind comes from the east, you go west. If the wind turns to south, you go north. I prefer to determine my own direction. Maybe I want to go southeast, and then I go southeast.
Okay. So, every successful person, or at least what we read in all the books of success, of successful people, every successful person has its own morning or evening rituals. Or what about you? Do you have some?
You mean if I do the same or so each day, or?
Yeah. Do you do something like every evening, like some meditation or some affirmation ritual every day or every evening or every morning? Do you have some morning or evening routine that you could share with us?
I'm sorry, I have none. No, I was in several spiritual traditions years ago, and I did spiritual things, spiritual exercises, but I gave them all up. I believe rituals like a routine is counterproductive. It's then you do not think anymore. See, even take brushing the teeth. Of course, I do that, but I don't see it as a ritual. It's just necessary hygiene. But I do it, say, consciously, and sometimes really I start at the right side, and sometimes I start at the left side. For instance, to remind myself, hello, this is not an automation, but I do it. I do it willingly. So that's important. What I said before, step a bit outside of myself, look at myself. What am I doing now, and why do I really want to do this? Yes, I do have something. I found a rebounder, a kind of mini trampoline, which is just good for body movement. And I spend 10 minutes or so on it each day, but I do not see that as a ritual or so. It's a kind of, say, making certain that the body gets the movement that it needs. And instead of jogging outside of the house and depend on the weather, on the heat and the cold, or the rain and the snow, I do it in my own home. So, but I don't see that as a fixed ritual. It's more to get my life, my body a bit supple. So, no fixed things, not anymore. No.
Okay, yeah, it's really interesting because we hear a lot now in this world that you have to do some morning rituals, you have to do meditation, affirmation, you have to do spiritual techniques to be successful. But from the other hand, we see that, for example, you have different opinion, and it's really interesting to know that it's possible to work on yourself even without giving you a specific rituals. Okay, I think it's important also to hear for many people that that will see our video. Okay, as long as you have so huge experience in Ayurveda or in health, as a health practitioner, could you give us some advice, or could you share with us what rules do you have about what should we drink, what should we eat? How do you what do you think about it? Do you have some practical advice to us, or how to act in now, considering all the knowledge that you have?
Yeah, you get me. See, everyone has a weak spot, and mine is probably eating. Food is just so delicious, and there are so many things. And even if you think you have had it all, there's even more that you have not tried. Seriously, food is personal. Not only that some food items should not be eaten by certain people, but also it changes in time. You see, if you have a health sickness situation, it may be wise to refrain from certain foods, but even that depends on the circumstances and on the person. Do they have fever? Do they have not fever? Are they sweating, or are they dry? No, I would say enjoy food. Don't eat too much. That's a generally good thing. And maybe one advice that has turned out to be of value: if small small children have an ear inflammation, which happens too often, I came to understand that they should not be given any milk products. No cheese, no milk, because they introduce or increase mucus, and mucus is what's in the ears and should go out. So that would be counterproductive. It would be the wrong thing to give them any cheese or curd or milk, as long as they have the information. But for the rest, enjoy your life and eat what's good.
So, for example, I know that in Italy, I think every family who has children, the breakfast of Italian children is a cup of milk and cookies. So what do you think about it? What breakfast would you recommend for children, for Italian children that drink milk every day in the morning?
I cannot seriously recommend any breakfast. I have none. I do not eat in the morning at all, and it's good for me. It may not be good for everyone. Some people may starve and really have to eat. Do it. Give into what your body needs. I found out that I can do quite some hours without food, and it's good. I see that as a relief for the body to give it time to clear itself. And on the other hand, if someone comes along with a glass of champagne and offers it as breakfast, I happily take it.
So you tell that we should understand and understand our body. We should hear what our body tells us about the food that we eat, about what we drink. Is it correct?
That is the ideal situation. Try everything and evaluate what it does with you. Yeah, that gives a hint. And unfortunately, it changes in time. What you do not like this morning, tonight you may be happy. So it's very personal.
Okay. So I think I'll ask you last question. If we would like to give some advice to entrepreneurs, what would be? What would it be?
An advice
to
entrepreneurs? Oh well, I don't think I have a lot of advice. I'm not certain whether I would be the right person. What advice do you mean? Personal advice, health advice?
Personal advice. Maybe I don't know, one thought or maybe advice that you received in your life that changed your vision, changed your life. Something that I think you think that could be important in this period of time to hear for other people.
One thing does come to mind, indeed, Anna. I would not do things anymore that do not make me happy. So turn it around, and I would say, try to always do what makes you happy. And for myself, it feels good because continuing with the people, with the products, does make me happy. But on the other side, my advisory business, I talk to people, and I can somehow do something for them, even if it's energetically. That makes me happy. I'm not working with organizations, I'm working with people. So I would say focus on that, what you like most. If I had a chance to make much money in a short time, but it would feel awful, I would regret forever that I did it. I know that. so I do not even ponder to give into that. I would say make sure that you do what you love, what you like, or at least that it feels good. And maybe I'm not really a good advisor in this. Just have a talk to Anna. She's a business development consultant, and as far as I remember, an initial session is always free. So give it a try. She has much wisdom in her.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your advice and really appreciate that you share your knowledge so generously with us, and that you share your way of thinking with many people. And I think that we'll leave here in this video a link to your shop. Maybe just send me a message so we put it in this video. So everybody who's interested in your products, who's interested in health care and specific health products, you can look in the website of Hans-Otto and really appreciate the products that he chooses. Thank you very much for this conversation. I was really glad to see you, really glad to hear your advices, to hear your knowledge, to be here with you. And it's a great pleasure and honor for me to register and to have this video today with you.
Thank you so much, Anna, for the opportunity to talk to you. And the honor is mine.